Now, that was what the debate was about. At what point does this stop being nonviolent? And we had lots of discussions up on the Hill, okay? Because and one guy came in, one policeman from Kent State Police, came in and gave karate pressure points, and finally, okay, now you're going to go. Now, wait a minute. You have to tell your other demonstrators.
I'm leaving.
You going? Yeah. You're going to let go?
Yeah.
You're under arrest. Okay. All right, then. That's right. That's exactly what it's like Amoeba City. Okay, say goodbye to him. Bye.
It's the beginning of a movement of the university communities right across the nation to say we cannot go on as long as there's a Cambodia. We cannot go on as long as there's a Vietnam. Right across the country, shut them down to open them up to reality. Shut them down.
Bad situation at Kent State University for the past 3 days got worse today. There was an outbreak of firing near Taylor Hall on a hill above the Common. The result was 4 persons killed and at least 4 others seriously wounded.
When the guard reached the top of the hill, they stopped, suddenly turned, and fired.
We were running up the hill after them. Most of us were screaming. Never expected them to turn around, never expected them to fire on us.
What do you think about the shooting again? Do you think it was justified?
Yes, I do. I'm sorry they didn't kill more. The students didn't obey. They were told to disperse. They didn't disperse. What could you do?
I saw a girl lying on the sidewalk. Her head had been shot into, and her mouth and jaw was laying on the sidewalk, and blood was running down. And then everything after that was pretty much of a total confusion.
And everyone was screaming, he's hit, she's hit. Dr. Frank finally came over to talk to the students with the bullhorn. Basically what he said was, please people, please leave this hillside. Don't harass these guardsmen anymore because they're murderers.
The closest slain student was 95 yards away. And all of the others using our national unit to measure the football field were more than a football field.
More than a football
field length from the guard.
Well, I see the bullet hole in the statue.
Yeah, that's the artist Drum has refused to fix that. So ironically, the
Can you see it?
well, it's on both sides.
Oh, okay.
See, here's the. That's what an M1 does to a statue. You can see what it does to flesh. And then when the students have a vigil, you'll see tonight, they'll climb up and put candles up here. I'll show you where the closest wounded student was.
Where were you the day the shootings happened?
Funny, I broke my leg, so I was in the hospital. I woke up from anesthesia, and the nurses were shaming me. I had a Kent State T-shirt on. And the nurses were shaming me. They said, look. And I wake up, and they've got a television wheeled in, and it's Taylor Hall on the television. And they said, what's going on? And you think, well, Kent's had, we had turmoil and so forth, but shooting, that's unbelievable. That, you're just stunned. You think, well, there's been a mistake. That didn't happen. And it wouldn't happen at Kent. It's going to happen at Berkeley or Columbia, but not at Kent.
I thought they were just firing more tear gas. So I ran because I didn't want the tear gas. But they were firing real bullets at me.
We didn't understand what that sound was.
I had no idea.
No, I didn't understand what that sound was. I really didn't. Jeff died right next to me, and it was only after I saw his blood that I realized what those sounds were.
Heard shots, saw students slowly drift over, screaming hysterically about what had happened. I mean, even hearing the shots, people didn't believe on the other side of the hill that they were carrying live ammunition, really.
One of the kids that was shot, Bill Schroeder, was a sophomore classmate of mine. And I guess he was probably the outstanding sophomore, #1 sophomore.
It made me feel the anti-war movement in a way, in a personal way that I wouldn't have. I don't have friends who died in the war. People from my high school class that did. Friends of friends who did. But that's my connection to the war.
A candlelight vigil was organized on the first anniversary of the shootings and is repeated each year. The march circles the campus and finishes in the parking lot where the killings occurred. The participants take half-hour They'll stay until 12:24 p.m. tomorrow, the moment when the National Guard turned and fired.
Students in Ohio, 200 yards away, shot down by a nameless fire, one early day in May. Some people cried out angry, you should have shot more of them down. But you can't bury youth, my friends, youth grows the whole world round. It could have been me, but instead it was you. And it may be me, dear brothers and sisters, before we are through. But if you can die for freedom, 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 freedom.
Time dulls and distance diminishes. But to those of us contemporary with the event, those moments on May 4th on this campus and on May 14th at Jackson State College in Mississippi, those moments are an indelible part of our being. In May of 1970, we were just 10 years away from 1960, the year that black American college students revived the then dormant notion that young people, people your age, college students, people just like you, could, through social and political action, reshape and remake an apartheid society and redefine the acceptable notions of protest. The times we face today are not noticeably different.
I think so. It's too liberal for me.
What do you mean?
You know, it's just, I'm not going to explain it, but it's just some of the views that a couple of the speakers brought out were too, you know, I'm a little bit more conservative.
Did they offend you, son?
Well, a couple of them, but I'm not, you know, total conservative. I'm a liberal conservative, but not that liberal.
About May 4th, I think that those people are dead, and we should let them lay in their grave peacefully. That's all I have to say.
I don't think there are any true radicals anymore.
Why?
Not in Kent,
Why?
because people consider me a radical. It's stifling for me to go to a protest and only have 30 or 40 people be there.
People just don't want to fight anymore. You know, they just say, let me get through college, just let me get out in the real world and get on with my life. And they don't want to participate in anything for that matter. You know, anything on campus. If you try to have an event, it's hysterical because no one comes.
Do you think people are kind of afraid something might happen to them? Or?
No, I don't think that's it.
You think they're just apathetic?
No, they're not apathetic. I hate that word. You guys always use that. Everybody's like always says, "The students are apathetic." They're not apathetic. They're just not concerned with the same things.
They say we're apathetic. They say that we're now and all we want to do is do for ourselves. Is that what they say? It's not true. I think that our generation is more of, well, what can we do about it? You know what I mean? I don't think the old ways of showing that we care are the ways that we show we care now.
Maybe we feel kind of helpless. They thought they could help more. At least I do. I feel like I'm just a small person in a whole big place, and I'm against war more than probably a lot of people. And I just don't know what I can do about it. I don't think marching through some streets are going to going to do anything. I mean, it might get people's attention, but it's not going to stop the bomb.
I feel like a little person, and I don't know how much they accomplished and what happened, and I don't feel since they didn't do anything, and I really can't do the same, you know. I'm just going to follow their footsteps, which is kind of a failure.
All this social change and everything, what did it amount to? I mean, look, Kent State right here, it amounted to pretty much nothing, so the average student is pretty cynical nowadays. They're saying, well, look, we can't do anything about it. People tried 20 years ago, and it didn't do a damn bit of good.
But that was then, and this is now. I mean, what does that have to do with students now?
I think that, students feel like that all the tactics were tried then and they didn't work, so what can we possibly do now?
Someone recently asked me if my generation was to blame for the attitudes of today's college students. He meant, were we to blame because we raised expectations and then couldn't deliver? Had sold out. I don't buy it. I don't think these students know what things were like before the 60s, how much has changed. And the images they see, Jerry Rubin hustling stock, music millionaires, the big chill, these don't represent the experiences of people I know. But the question did make me think about how things seem now to someone coming out of high school. Beyond changes in style, is there something fundamentally different?
When I was 18, 19, and 20, there were just a whole lot more people doing a lot more things. So I'd open my eyes and I would see a lot more. I think that they're surrounded by a lot less stimulus to encourage them to be involved in things.
The passion of the earlier period would allow a student to take a risk. That is, and why? Because those heroes and heroines of the period were risk takers. The Malcolm X's, the Fannie Lou Hamers, the Ella Jo Bakers, the Martin Luther Kings, the Medgar Evers. You see, these people were the risk takers.
Who are their heroes now?
I wonder.
Mr. Geschwind is a former vice president of program management from Chrysler. He's originally from Cuyahoga Falls. He has a Bachelor of Engineering from Case Western Reserve, a Master's in Engineering from Chrysler Institute, and a Master's in Business Administration from Michigan State. Today he's going to speak to us about his 33-year career at Chrysler from a business management perspective. Mr. Geschwind.
Thank you, Joyce. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. You know, when Joyce called, I got to tell you, I was excited. And if I can help in one teeny bit,
Is there one trait you feel that you possess or developed that made you successful in your career?
simple truth, just do whatever job you're given better than anybody else. Do it better than you think you can do it, because you can.
The role models that are pushed at students on this campus are those persons who have succeeded in life, not the educators, okay? Not the successful parents, but the corporate executives. Those are the ones that are pushed at these students.
Do you see the school as corporately oriented?
Ooh, to say the least. I don't know any educational institution in the nation that isn't corporate in its orientation.
The message that comes through very, very clearly, not only to students, but everybody, is that the corporate way is the best way. They turned over the Ohio Turnpike to McDonald's and Roy Rogers and all kinds of places because that administration could not prepare food. They turned over the food in the student union at Kent State to Wendy's because the administration could not prepare food. The message is that the administration believes, and therefore the students begin to believe, that if you don't do it in a corporate way, it is not going to be successful. You can't do it as well, you can't do it as cost effectively, you can't do it as professionally, you can't do it as polished, you can't make it look as good, you can't really be a part of the team unless somehow the corporate structure makes that work.
In the 60s, we certainly spent a lot of time talking about corporations. But they were off-campus forces that had to be watched and checked. Now, it's harder to see the border between the two.
I'm not declared rhetoric and communications yet, but that's what I've been going towards. But now, as I'm finding out what kind of jobs are available, maybe it's not for me.
Sounds like you're worried that there might not be a job there for you.
I'm in no hurry to get into the real world.
They're told real scary things about what the job market's like. One of the things I do about once a week is talk to students who are coming in the fall. They're seniors in high school now. And I talk to groups of about 8 at a time, and their parents are there. And one of the things that I do at the very beginning, it's part of a day's activities where they come in and make out their schedule for the next year, for next fall. And they go around the room and tell me what their major is. The ones that have chosen something, particularly something that's going to get them a job in 4 years, say what they want, with some boldness. And the ones who haven't decided yet, or who want something like maybe studio art or theater or something that's not really very practical, kind of say, well, I think of art. Scratch the table and look at the table. There's a lot of pressure on them to choose something that's going to pay off right away.
When I was here at Kent, I probably could have counted on the fingers of both hands all the students that were working. There was some financial aid, but then college was only $300 a semester.
So you think these kids have a lot more reason to be concerned about the financial future?
I definitely do. Yeah, and now you got maybe 60% of the kids are working around some form of financial aid or something. They do. College is a lot more expensive. It's suddenly become a lot more serious.
My parents, we had a deal that they would pay my room and board wherever I went, and I had to pay my tuition and stuff like that. So for me, I kind of needed a scholarship to make sure I could pay for it.
Yeah, that's a lot of responsibility for someone 17, 18 years old to get together the money to go to college.
Well, I had money from, I had paper route and all this other stuff, and I did really good on that and saved it and had a lot of stock and stuff like that. Budding young capitalist I was.
You had stock? Wait a second. What do you mean? You mean with your money from your paper route you bought a stock?
Yeah, my proudest investment was I had 10 shares of IBM, and I was like, yeah. Next thing you know, I'm going to be a corporate raider out there.
Kind of
wasn't like the other kids.
Yes, hacked up cows for a living. Kim.
Sam!
Yes, had sex with Carol. Jim.
Mike!
Yes.
Did you ever watch the Brady Bunch?
Yeah, and I don't know why I kind of liked it. I don't know why. It's the stupidest show I've ever seen in my life.
The Brady Bunch? Yeah. Every Friday night, yeah.
Do you know the theme song?
Yeah. Do I have to sing it?
Here's stories about the lady who was bringing up three very lovely girls.
All of them had hair of gold, like their mother, the youngest one in girls.
Here's the story of a man named Brady who was bringing up three.
Who was bringing up three boys of his own. They were all right, they all together.
We're in a television age. These kids have watched more television than they've spent time in school by the time we get. And of course, there's all kinds of show business. And you didn't grow up with MTV, where a typical video is tops 3 minutes long, and then cut to a commercial, and then cut to a thing. So there's a tremendous changing of attention spans and things like that.
When do you watch TV?
Late at night usually.
When do
And
you
early in the morning. And in the middle of the day. It depends on if I like. All right, what happens is I come in, get up in the morning, turn on the TV.
I come home and I live alone, so I turn the TV on, or the stereo on, just something, a lot of times.
What
Because
shows
I'm not
do
watching.
you watch?
Which shows do I watch? Which shows do I like, or which shows do I watch?
I watch TV in the morning, then I go to class, and then I come back from that, and I have like a half an hour to watch Bewitched, and then I go to class again.
If you're somebody who's always grown up watching TV, try when you're home alone not turning it on, and reading instead.
For entertainment, what kind of books do you read?
Books. I really don't read books too much at all. No books.
So here now to recreate man's first step on the moon, our own Larry Bud Melman. Larry.
What's the first big news story you remember?
Right out of my head. It's kind of far away, but probably the hostage situation in Iran is when hostage situation in Iran. That's when I started reading the front page of the paper every morning. Just the front page. Up to that point, I never once read the paper or watched the news.
But you were aware of the hostage thing.
Exactly.
That was crazy. That's all I can say. I couldn't believe they're there for 444 days. It's a long time.
As far as tying into my military career, I maybe had dreams of leading a rescue mission, something like that. So I did feel a lot of anger for, for terrorists hitting civilians.
Well, it kind of pissed me off. It kind of like another put-off, like for a young, impressionable mind to see that going on. It's like, what's wrong with those people? Why are they doing that to us? We don't deserve that. I mean, that's not right. Why is OPEC got to be so greedy? Or why does, the Shah, or why do you have to do all that stuff to people to make these other people mad and take it out on us just for helping them out? It was real confusing, and I didn't understand why they wanted to do it. Why can't they just live their lives and we'll do our own thing, you do your own, and, hey.
Why do you think people keep doing that kind of stuff?
I don't know. People want to be powerful, countries want to be powerful, and they're using any means they can to obtain that power.
Do you think America gets more attacked than other countries?
Yeah, they see, our, average income, I don't know what it is, way above a lot of other countries, and it makes them mad. They say, why, they're people too, why do they have so much? It's just that we just run our country better than they have, I think, and, we're just reaping the benefits.
No one likes us, I don't know why. We may not be perfect, but heaven knows we try. But all around, even our old friends put us down. Let's drop the big one and see what happens. We give them money, but are they grateful? No, they're spiteful.
If you look at the way that students a few years ago reacted to the Iran business, the almost agoraphobia about any value, any culture outside of this one was pretty amazing. The kind of closed way of looking at all things American is perfect, which I think came from the Reagan business, the mythology of America's going to be fine again. We're going to be number one. We're going to be terrific. Everything's fine. Everything American is perfect.
It takes someone. Someone's got to be right. You know. Someone's got to. You know, say what's right and wrong. You know, I don't like the world picture. You know.
When we're first old enough to see beyond our own neighborhood to a larger world, the images we see have tremendous impact. At age 9, 10, or 11, these kids looked out and saw America held hostage. They even remember the number of days. They saw angry mobs of foreign, dark-skinned people hurting innocent Americans and unfairly attacking our country. Many of these students remember waiting in gas lines, vacation trips canceled. And why? Because the Arabs had held back our oil. Add to this a President of the United States hammering on the theme of America's need to stand tall again, unsympathetic to the problems of minorities and the poor, and encouraging distrust of all those who are not like us. I wonder, if I were 20 years old today, would I be any different? I think back to my own first memories of events beyond my own backyard. Integration in Little Rock, Kennedy at his inauguration. Ask not what our country can do for us, but what we can do for our country and beyond. Join the Peace Corps and help a troubled but friendly world. And from the time I was 10, I watched young black students risking their lives as they challenged and transformed their world. The TV, the government, practically the whole society told me this grassroots political action was changing America into a better place. When I was a teenager, I saw Uncle Sam pushing others around, meddling, propping up dictators and the wealthy in fights against the poor, all in the name of defending democracy against communism. It seemed we always made things worse. And why? Not to defend democracy, but to protect big business interests. I found that my sympathies were with the people in the streets, the ones shouting, "Yankee, go home." 2 generations, 2 realities. What do you see your goals coming out of college to be?
Wow. Like goals is like materials or like within me.
Whatever. When you leave college, what would make you feel like it had been a successful experience?
Getting a good job.
I want to graduate with honors, meaning 3.5 or above. That's what I want to do. I want to think that my 4 years spent here, I performed well.
Say you're 67 years old, you look back, what will make you feel like your life has been a success?
That I had some really good quality friends, kept in touch with friends, was living comfortably, and I know I'd contributed something to what I had done work-wise. It felt like I had done something, for the corporation.
A wife, family. Let me see, what else? This is good. This is really American get American values out of this.
You know what I see missing? The thing I'm really interested that you don't say is that make you feel success if you had really helped change somebody's life or made a difference, say, in the society. Nothing sort of rings a chord?
No, and I've really never thought about helping my fellow man, if that's what you're bringing up, which is, I can see the difference where you're getting at it, but, no, not really.
What's that smile?
I'm thinking, like the 60s, was that the way it was then? People wanted to help out their fellow man. That is missing, I think, definitely from, the college student in the 80s.
If I were going to call myself successful, I think that it would be having accomplished something, having done something that made a concrete difference in society, that something that, actually produced some kind of a positive change.
Being able to put something back into the community, being able to go back to Huff and go back to Ansel and Superior and Cleveland and put something back in those communities to help, particularly the young ones growing up. This is what I should be doing. I should be involved in correcting things that need to be corrected. And if I didn't, I don't know, I couldn't, what would I be doing? What would anyone be doing? You don't just exist in any society. You don't just exist. How could you not be involved in the world? How could you not be aware, or at least looking at what's going on in the world?
I got a few announcements. There's going to be a film called Roses in December. It's about nuns who were killed in El Salvador.
The Progressive Student Network, PSN, has about 60 members who meet every 2 weeks. Between these meetings, 5 or 6 subgroups work on particular issues on and off campus.
Like, just some short pamphlet about what apartheid is and wearing black armbands. I don't know how many people would be willing to have a sit-in, but I read a report over the
You may know we're planning on protesting at McDonald's about the deforestation of the rainforest. We've set a date of December 11th.
The most important thing is about the abortion education discussion panel that we're going to have. Michelle got into contacted the Right to Life group on campus, and they were very excited about it. And their vice president and their president are willing to come and be asked questions at this. The other thing, you might have seen these little flyers up around campus. We got all these printed up and posted, just kind of, pro-choice.
When I started research at Kent 3 years ago, there were no organizations like this. And almost all these students are freshmen and sophomores. This makes me think, are these small stirrings of things to come?
Speaking about that, did you hear about when they were trying those 4 people in those anti-apartheid organizations for treason, and they were likening it to the Mandela trial, and what was the 16th?
One of the positive things that have come out of the PSN for me is to be able to find a group of people that have the same ideals and the same, just basic philosophies that I have. And I do think that there are enough people reacting to society and reacting to its wrongs and realizing that this is not right and that something should be done.
The kinds of activism that was present.
I'm really not interested in what they think of man.
Yeah. You wouldn't want to give him a surprise. Does he have a birthday coming up? A lovely gift.
That's true.
They place a tremendous... The Bible is still the best seller in the world, so...
I just couldn't afford it now. It's small for medical goods.
Oh, hi, Mrs. Robb. Hey, Mr. McDevitt from the church. How are you today?
Now, what is this?
From the church, Sunday.
No, I guess you've got me mistaken. What name do you want?
This 59 West?
No, across the street.
Oh, my gosh.
And this is the ceiling. The crowd, they claim, I don't know exactly, but 30,000 or more attend one mass. They pray in St. Peter's.
St. Peter's.
Right in the Vatican. I didn't know that myself.
I didn't either.
You're Italian, aren't you, Mrs. Imperato? The guards are not Italian, they're Swiss. You
Yeah,
know why?
I know.
Did you know why? I never knew that. They're 6 feet. See, they're taller than the cabin folks. Usually, see, they're 6 feet. Now, here's something nice. A lot of people, they like, to be frank, the print. It's large. It's a 10-point register. Isn't that something?
Good night, Dollar. Thanks for the order. Sheriff?
I get a check.
Yeah? Good.
Did you get what? I only got one, a quad, 25 down, ready.
You think you got me beat, don't you?
I did, I know I did.
You did.
That was all 10.
How'd it go, Paul? Yeah? You still had one-a-day vitamin, huh? What do you get him off that brand?
Operator, I'll call back later.
Gipper?
Yeah, the Gipper.
You selling them trucks, huh?
Yeah. Well, I'm due for a quad. I'm out classing here. I'm due for a quaddy. How did you do tonight?
I just got two.
How was the best?
10 and 10. But we lost a little time getting, back over there.
Did you go to Spencer? Yeah?
No, Webster.
Webster, excuse me, yeah.
Well, good, the time. So now I guess. Well, I understand the whip, but again, if you're not familiar with the territory, and I don't go to me and your wife, if you're not familiar with the territory, it's difficult, Permit me to offer my own alibi. Any man that's not good at selling should be good at making excuses.
Any man that's not good at selling should be good at finding territory.
Finding territory. Where you been?
Working.
You work all night.
And he shows up at 10:05.
Where's your orders?
Oh, you did.
Oh, we got a producer.
Oh, my bad.
That many?
I got 3 singles.
Yeah.
I didn't get another till 8 o'clock.
Well, pretty good depths. 12, 10 and 10, 20, yeah. Nice looking sale. Very good.
Money is being made in the Bible business. It's a fabulous business. It's a good business. And all I can say to people who aren't making the money, it's their fault. Just keep that in mind. The money's out there, and go out and get it. I, for one, am sick and tired of haggling with you people and pleading with you to get you to do what's good for you and what's good for us. Instead of Friday and Saturday, instead of goofing off or playing gin rummy or poker, which I think is all very important, I think somebody that's out in this territory should go out, see if this church is in a good neighborhood or if it's in a Skid Row neighborhood, meet the priest, and if you're going to have a problem, see it in time to let us know so we can get another church. You would double your earnings, we would double our volume, and we'd all be a lot better off. Maybe you see some missing faces here. We eliminated a few men, not because we were mad at them, not because we didn't like them, not because we didn't need the few sales that they made, but it's a question of the sour apple spoiling the barrel. Certain guys have a habit of getting a couple of beers and flying off the handle and badging people around and throwing their weight around. I want to go on record, and I want to tell you all, the next man that gets off base with me, I'm going to tag him out. The ball game's over. You've got a job to do, and you go out and you do it. I thank you very much. I thank you for coming and for listening.
Don't you worry about it, Buster. I've had it. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. And it's not good for these guys. They get undisciplined, they get disrespectful, and fill alibis and excuses.
Thank you. Wish I was a rich man.
Roy.
Wish I were a rich man.
Mr. McDonald, I'm Paul Brother.
Now, what the hell is it all about?
Now, we have a display at the church, Mr. McDonald.
Johnny.
Yeah.
And she gave me a name, and that's why I'm here, see? She gave her your name? She gave me her name, and I'm here, because she gave me a name, see? If it was visiting all the families in there, they gave a name, you know, at the church. See, this is where it's with the approval of the Monsignor, you know?
Yeah.
See, like, if you're at the church and you see the display, you say, okay, and you give me a name. See, I come to see, see?
Yeah.
This is... No, I don't know what the hell. Look, I'll tell the right we can.
Yeah, all right, I'll ask you. I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
Right, but John.
Yeah, all right, sir.
We place a lot of nurses, people in the phone company. You know, ladies like yourself, and you're very educational, man. You think that you won't get there. You finally told us that. I know you will want you to know.
I want to say this, by the way. I hope it brings you lots and lots and lots.
Wonderful, thank you. I just hope I get around to reading it. Okay, I'll give you 5 towards it.
God bless you. No, see, she's making the balance a lot easier for you.
All right.
Bless you. Bring you a lot of
Why don't I keep my big mouth shut?
Yeah, I'm Irish myself from scratch. I'm Irish. That's a good comment.
Well, you're more Scotch than you're Irish, Jimmy.
Thank you very much for saying that.
Jimmy, I'll tell you something. I'll be very truthful. I never ran into a mooch like this in my life. It's the biggest mooch I've ever seen in my life. I told Larry down the office, give me about 10 mooches a day.
What's a moocher?
What do you mean? Mooch. Mooch.
Easy to talk into.
Oh, really? No, people that read a lot and appreciate books.
Yeah.
Don't tell me you don't. I know you
Oh,
don't.
these aren't the books.
Who was reading this?
Me. She don't read. I'm the one that reads. I certainly wasn't reading that.
You'd really love the Bible.
You won't run into people like me all the time. You're going to have to work harder. But you men are doing fine.
Yeah, but...
I like to see men out, on their own doing things.
Independent.
Right. Get away from companies. Get away from people over you.
Get away from pensions.
Right.
And do what you believe in that, just like you.
Yeah, I'm doing swell.
You did a good job.
No, she don't believe in what she's doing.
I don't believe it.
She hates her supervisor.
Anyone works at the phone company.
No, she hates her supervisor.
I like working. I like being out on your own. I don't like being, under anyone like that. Really. It gets jerky after a while.
Now, supposing you're kidding us, who do we get in touch with? The FBI?
Well, you duplicate, yeah? As a matter of fact,
don't mean a thing.
as a matter of fact, let me ask you this.
You mean to say you don't think he's an honest man, Mother, by looking at him?
You're not literal like I am. She is a living saint, and I have a nephew a priest, and I have a daughter in the convent, and I'm a devil.
Now, these people are funny. They make you laugh sometimes. They're so... Some people.
Oh, Jimmy. You'll excuse me, gentlemen. I gotta go.
Going back out there?
Yeah.
Charlie, how many more day leaves do you have?
22. I'll try this one. Maybe Mrs. Rafferty's home. Wished I was a rich man. I wouldn't be going on this shit land. Oh, shut the window now. Let's see where I go next. Get another one of these beauties. Mrs. Rafferty. I don't know if Mrs. Rafferty will be home, but I know I'm not home. Are you selling anything? Nah, we're not selling it. The Irish fighting with the English. Because they don't really make no difference to me. Because the English are not paying me bills. The Irish are taken away from me. Yep. Ah, here's another one here. It's a little glitzy. Gee, I'm confused today. Chimpo! Being a farmer. I'm informing you that I'm here.
We do have the Catholic Encyclopedia. They spent 4.5 years. Now, we can't carry it, but this will give you an idea. This is fantastic. This is the grand old renowned Catholic Encyclopedia. What do you see that? This answers 43,000 answers in the page. Now, this is terrific, I'll tell you why. This has, from the Reformation, Karl Marx, all your religions. Now, you know the Jehovah's Witnesses, they're nice people, but they know more about our religion because they have good literature to find out. I'll say communism, you want to look it up, it's in your Catholic Encyclopedia, with the comparison to Catholicism, they're thinking the ideology involved. It's under Caesar. But frankly, we can't carry the set, as I mentioned, it's too heavy, but this is going to make it. He's got a good personality. Honest to God, I mean, he thinks I'm giving a sales talk, I know. He has, he's got a good personality. But this right here is vast in scope. That's Mr. and Mrs. McDonald. And they come in red or white. Some people prefer red. This is, I call it antique gold, but it's but on that end, you have your choice of colors. Now, what color would you folks choose in it?
You get me green.
What plan would be more convenient? And I know you've been it's like a railroad station today. But what plan would be more convenient than the cash? Or they have a Catholic Valentine? Good afternoon, how are you? I'm St. Brendan's.
Oh, I see you outside of church. You're not going to find out.
Are you related, Mr. McDonald?
Yeah, by friendship, that's all. My best pal.
Is this your best buddy?
Sure.
Well, I'll tell you, you got a good friend there.
I know I have.
I told him about the Scotchman. What's your last name?
Roger.
Mrs. Roger. I said, did you hear about the Scotchman, the lonely Irishman, $50? He knew it, but it's supposed to be. I'll ask you, did you hear about the Scotchman, the lonely
I've
Irishman?
heard many of them. I heard about the one that was going to get, the Scotchman and the Jew and the Irishman were going to get a beating for something. But anyway, what about the $50?
No, have you ever heard about him?
I think I have.
I can't tell it to you, but no, you say I never have, and I'll say you never will. No, what you want to do is to pay it each month then, $5 a month? Or do you want to COD it?
I can give you a little deposit on it now to make binding.
Hey, thanks a lot.
There you are. Now you remember the family.
No, never.
That's why we have lumps on our here.
And this is your receipt. I'll get you for stuff. But I just have to get down to the car and I'll bring one up. Hey, I'll just take this out of my pocket.
I got no pictures. One in. No, one. You know the one that asked for the Bible? Yeah. She wasn't home. The other one wasn't home. Two of them.
Well, I have to deliver this. All right. Straight up the street.
Okay.
How the battle's over?
Well, not much of a battle.
Did you scratch? Huh? Yeah. So kids, New England, no one for me. Not call up Kenny and tell him he can read the rest of my leads.
I hit him with everything but the Chinese fence. Half the time I couldn't even get in the door. Couldn't find the houses. I spent about 2 hours on the last one. Boy, I broke my ass on it.
This is the middleweight championship fight, evening circuit.
Well, I'd like to be in it myself. Not me any longer. It's these people. I actually got in, no pitches. Because, you know, soon I can't afford anything. We just don't have the money. I saved kid, my wife's gone, my husband's out of work. And this is continual. I'm not taking negatively, but I tried the gift. A lot of this in the convent. All the old Mickey stuff. But, this is the most ball-breaking territory I've run in since Gallivan Boulevard. Well, they're ducking behind the door. Phony names and phony
Did the father send ye?
They didn't even ask that. They didn't care about the father. Carol, Grady. Boy, the names. The Italians and the Irish. And really dead, you know? No enthusiasm.
You feel like eating again?
I don't know. I feel like...
Put down on Gigi's.
I know. More fucking Italian food for me after these games. If I was Sicilian, the Irish must have come over in a banana boat. Less territory. You'd have to be Alaska wicked. They say Alaska's good territory. No, that's a fact. Remember the time we were going to go to Alaska? Remember?
Oh, I remember about 8 years ago you were telling me this business is on the fringes. The fringes. Still on the fringes.
It's worse now. There's no... Well, this business reminds me of a Surrey, of one of those, you know, the little things in the old days, you know, the wagons with the thing on top.
Carousel?
You know, yeah, well, a Surrey with the fringe on the top. And they got these little tassels. Now, the way I take this business, only the tassels aren't even left. They're nothing but shred. I'm working on my new sales on the 5-year plan. Oh, dear. Oh, dear.
You don't like you had it.
So how'd you know? Last call, I got one. And I would have been a little mad had you got it.
What do you mean?
Because it was the one that you went next door. You know, and they weren't home, and you went to this one by mistake. And you fetched her, it was just the wife. But the husband left the name with me, see? People next door. Did you sell him? Yeah, I had a little problem with that, but yeah.
Huh?
Yeah,
I tried to fix it.
It took a long time to
Help with cash or what?
to a cash.
A Bible, right?
Yeah.
But she said she's a like the Irish. I wouldn't have nothing without her.
Yeah.
I was supposed to go back tonight.
He was all right. She's the one turned out to be tough, you know.
This was,
she
was the one. Yeah, she was very bossy.
No, but she was all right.
Oh, we got
Well, Sam, he says, as a matter of fact, I had to sell him a demonstrator. I sold him the one I had.
Yeah.
And he says, gee, $40 is enough money for the Bible.
So
I said, well, when you figure out you're going to have it for a lifetime, it's not a lot.
So what do you say?
So then she says she'd go half with him, you know. First he tried to get the daughter to go half with him. And he says he'd go half with him. She'd go half with him, and this is what they did.
Well, I'm going to get some sleep. I'm tired out. It's a long day.
Yeah. That one phony college guy, you know.
What do you say there?
He says, well, this wouldn't be the appropriate time. So I says, well, how about next year? I think, he says, well, in a couple of years, it'll be all right.
What do you say? This would be what?
The appropriate time.
Well, does he get married or something?
No, he better go.
Should have told me you're not selling what?
Yeah. You know what, I'll tell you what I would have not appreciated. Say, with the way, this was the last call I got that, say, hey, look at that mosquito. Big son of a gun. Hey, just flew by your face. He's skeptical, see. So then I said, well, frankly, if you never took the encyclopedia, you have the encyclopedia in the back of the Bible anyway, you know. So he says, yeah. He says, but $50 is a lot of money. So then I went into the demonstrators with him, you know. Then he says $40 is a lot of money, you know. You get your green pants on today, huh?
see you. My father's on the force. He gets a pension. It's a good job. He's a fine working barn hut. Pushing him out of time. But he gets his reward. Get his reward in long run. He retired, he lives at sea, living a good piece of money then. He lived for about 2 weeks after he died. They saved him for a trip to the old fair shore. Over there.
I'll never forget when I was a kid. I lived in a tenement. It was a cold water flat, no bathroom or anything. Just a bathroom, but no bathtub or anything. There were something right. And I was going to the junior prom, and we had one tuxedo in the family. It's my brother's tuxedo. I won't forget this a day and day. See, I had to go to the junior prom. He had to go to some festivity at MIT. It was like the guy that, the salesman with one suit featured on the bed. So I got there quicker than he did. Had the suit, but tux and all set and hit the road, Geez, when he come looking for his tux to go to the festivity. It was blue murder. I'll never forget that. Geez, after that, boy. He caught up with me one night. A tuxedo, huh? Well, I still get my hat. It cost me a lot of money, this hat. Job nice. I don't want to seem negative, but I can't see anything here but delinquent accounts.
I'll tell you one thing, Paul. You're putting me in a very negative frame of mind for the sales meeting in Chicago.
You'll be all right for Chicago.
Not a success. He's got nobody to blame but himself.
What everybody's got to do is to quit making alibis and excuses and accept the responsibility of success or failure. Well, I, for one, will triple my production for the year 67. Believe me. I'm real happy with everything. I've just got one thing in mind. Kenny said a while ago is just making half the money that the guy's capable of paying. I think he's right. For one, I intend to make this next year something. My wife just talked me into buying a big house, and she wants to have a few more kids and all this kind of rot, so I'm going to make $35,000 this coming year. That's all.
I believe that.
To me, this is fantastic. I haven't, what have I been with you, 3 months?
3 long months.
Damn, I wish it was 3 or 4 years. I mean it. I expect to make 50,000, not 35. Or better. I think I can do it.
Chicago! Cookie Station! What I meant.
Yours is real good, fellas. Great as usual.
Thanks, man.
All right, get this over with.
Next speaker, of course, needs no introduction to no one. I'd like to introduce the designer and theological consultants on the books that we sell, Dr. Melbourne I. Feldman, Vice President, Consolidated Book Publishers. This is a little token of our appreciation. I'll try to read to you what we've inscribed on it. Melbourne I. Feldman, Ph.D., the world's greatest salesman of the world's bestseller, with gratitude, Mid-America.
Thank you.
are many people who know the Bible. There are many people who can quote from the Bible. But you're somewhat different. You know the business. And what is that business? Isn't it the business that we hear when the young boy, Jesus, was lost for
Drag to the right. Look like a boulevard.
Do you know where 118th Street is?
I think you gotta go all the way through this way.